In this episode of the Moto Outsider, we are covering all things Arlington Supercross, from Jett Lawrence calling out Nate Thrasher, Nate Thrasher cleaning out Hunter Lawrence, Haiden Deegan going from 15th to finishing in the top 10 overall, everything from Cooper Webb becoming consistent and getting his second win, Tomac signing with Outdoors and making everything official, throwing away all the concerns about his retirement. Guys, we have a lot of stuff to cover. As always, my name is Matthew Huss, joined by my beautiful long-haired co-host, Mr. Chris Baird. How are you doing, man?
Dude, I'm in Las Vegas. Life is good, Matt. What's going on today, man?
Dude, that background, I can't tell if you're chilling in a penthouse, what you're doing, but all I know is that view is way better than mine. That is for sure, dude.
Oh, we're balling. No, we're just in the Luxor. It's a $50 a night room, but it's real nice out here. I love it.
Dude, $50 room. What floor are you on for $50?
Sixth floor in the
Sixth
tower.
Floor? All right, dude.
Yeah, it's
Nothing
pretty
wrong
good.
with that, man.
Hell
How
no.
much money have you lost gambling in Vegas so far?
$0. I do not gamble. I don't have money to waste anyways, so it's good.
Beautiful. Awesome, man. Well, dude, let's get right into it. But before we tackle all of the headlines, let's announce the giveaway winner for our very first giveaway that we found at 500 subs. We just threw all of the names into the randomizer, which took so much damn time.
Yes.
But our winner of the replica jersey by choice is Mr. Michael Powell. Congratulations to you, man. I know Chris has already reached out to you to gather some information so we can get this jersey sent on over to you. But congrats to you, brother. Thank you so much for the support. And guys, we are doing another giveaway at 1,000 subs. So be sure to subscribe to the channel and then also drop a comment down below with if you would rather win a motocross gift card to a store of your choice or a replica jersey. We're doing another giveaway at 1,000 subs. So all that stuff aside, let's get right into the headlines. And arguably the best headline of the night, in my opinion, is the media blunder between Jett Lawrence in the booth, calling Nate Thrasher an idiot, and then getting some help from the guys in the booth to keep him on the rails. Chris, dude, what are your thoughts, man? Everything that took out there.
I replayed that clip like 8 times. I was like, did he really just say that?
Dumb move by Thrasher. Oh, no, it was a mistake. Yeah.
Oh, Hunter
Damn
just
it.
makes contact with his back wheel.
Idiot. Oops, my bad.
So you can say that if you're talking about your brother.
And I think it could have started a lot more controversy than it did, but it's a little weird to hear, someone call their competitor an idiot, but I think I'd be the same way if it was my brother, right? I totally understand. Ricky got him right back on track and was like, hey, man, if you're saying that about your brother, it's fine, but you could argue the move was kind of a bonehead move. I think Nate did truly make a mistake. So what's your take on the whole incident and like what happened?
Dude, so I watched it a couple times because I was thinking to myself, if Nate if he cross-jumped on purpose to take my man out, I think that is, like you said, a boneheaded move. But based on how he landed, looked back, the way his body moved on the bike, the way the bike moved, I personally think it was an accident. And I think anyone who watches it over a few times would agree. Do you think it was an accident? Do you think it was on purpose? What do you think, dude?
Oh, 100%. As soon as he got airborne, he looked over. It was one of those, like, the bike's kind of going where I don't want it to go, and there's nothing I can really do at this point. So it was a bummer. But, yeah, it was nothing he could do. I think he cross-rutted or just lost the front tire. It's a bummer because Hunter was coming on strong, and that was going to be a really good race, I think.
Hunter was cruising, man. And, dude, do you think there's somewhat of a beef between Nate and Hunter, two of the best riders in that class on that coast? Do you think there's anything kind of underlying there? I know there was some bumping and some bar banging on the course this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, just before we'll call it a takeout, but just before the takeout, Thrasher did run Hunter really high in the corner right after the whoops. Now, they did come in pretty hot and a lot of speed. I don't know if that was intentional, but you got to think after last weekend, Hunter kind of putting on a show and passing him in the last corner. There's got to be something there. I mean, if I'm Hunter and I'm Nate, like if I'm either one of those guys, I'm like, screw that other guy. Like I want to win this title. So I would say there's probably tension more than anything. I don't know about beef, but it's going to be a tight championship race, I think, if Hunter keeps crashing and hitting the ground.
I think so, man. Dude, so, all right, so that wraps up everything for Jett Lawrence and Nate Thrasher. Let's talk about Haiden Deegan. Triple Crown race, first race, he clocks a 15. And I texted you because I know you were on the road. I texted you, and I was like, Haiden Deegan with a little looking eye emoji. Yep. And, I mean, I didn't think he was going to recover the way he did with the next two races. Ultimately, he rounds out an 8th finish. What are your thoughts on Deegan's performance this past weekend? I know everyone loves talking about this kid, so what'd you think, man?
Well, dude, like even if you don't look at the individual scores and you look at an 8th place finish in 250 East, I mean, it's his rookie season. That's still an impressive result. But, you know, he got a 5th and a 4th in the last 2 races. The 15th, you know, a couple mistakes, bad start, you crash in the whoops. It's to be expected. He's not going to have a perfect run. He's got to make mistakes. He got a pretty big one out of the way, I feel. Luckily for him, it wasn't a Triple Crown. He was able to rebound with a top 10. So I'm still stoked on the kid. I think he still has so much more to prove. And I'm starting to think we could get a podium on him by the end of the year. Again, you look at, I don't know, Michael Moseman, Jordan Smith, Nate Thrasher, all guys who keep crashing, not even by other people. They keep either taking themselves out or whatever the deal is. So I don't know, man. What do you think? You think Haiden gets on the podium by the end of the year? Because my opinion has changed a little bit since round 1. So I'm not sure what you think.
Right. So I think a podium is a hell of a lot more realistic than a win. I don't think he's going to clock a win this year. Again, like I said in the last video we did on Deegan, you cannot judge him on this season. It's a good gauge, but he's finding his legs on the bike with the team, with the whole, you know, with the whole system. So I think next season is going to be where he's settled in and he's a hell of a lot faster. We already know the kid's got insane corner speed and rides like a factory level rider should. So I think this year, not a write-off, but it's definitely like a little bit of a gauge as to where he's at. Next year is going to be the fun year. Again, I just don't understand all the hate that this kid gets. It's just like it bothers a lot of people for some reason. I don't understand. But like I said, I think next year is the year. This year is just kind of just watch and see.
Absolutely, yeah. I think it's really important for him to finish the season out, like, you know, just without getting hurt. Because I've been thinking about it a little bit, and he kind of has, you know, like an Adam Cianciarulo like aura around him. Like growing up as like, I wouldn't say the golden child, but he kind of has that type of like, you know, untouchable when you're a kid and you got all the nice equipment and all that. So he kind of has had that target on his back since he was young. And the hate's got to come from the YouTube channel, right? Being in front of the camera since you're a little, like just a young boy. I can't imagine that, but.
And I know, dude, I know we're going to do a video on this in a later segment because we've already talked about this. But he is one of those, he's one of those riders that you love to hate because the kid's got natural talent and he's got a big name and he's got a lot of money and he's got a good support system. It's not like he comes from, you know, some no-name family that also happens to be like a dad who's never home type deal. The kid's got everything going for him in the corner. He's got one of those rare families that is just a solid family unit. So I think that brings in a lot of hate. I don't know if there's a lot of jealousy or resentment from there, but no one likes to see the rich kid do good. And I think in this situation, that's a little bit of what's going on. But again, 100%. When to ride at this level, to be at the top, to earn that ride and stay, you know, in the media headlines, you have to have some level of talent and work ethic. Absolutely. So I think the kid's going to be moving on up and up. So, dude, let's wrap up the 250s by giving us a rookie update. But first, Chris Blows, not a rookie, but kind of a rookie. My dude,
you call him a dinosaur in the first episode. What are you talking about?
Mitch Payton's dinosaur, Mr. Consistent, getting 9th overall. Chris Blows does it again, but dude, give me the updates on the rest of the rookies between Hymas, Hawkins, Braswell, Vial. Relay it on me, man.
Yeah, no, Hymas is just, I don't know, he's not underperforming in my opinion. I think he's just really quiet, probably underrated more than anything. There's a few of the guys that are making the mains every week that have been in the class for a few years, and he's beating them pretty consistently. Like you look like a Cullen Park, those kind of guys. Being on Factory Honda, I'm expecting he'll have to do a little better next year if he wants to keep that ride. But I'm impressed with Hymas. You know, he got a good start in the 3rd race, I believe, 2nd or 3rd race. He was up front. He just needs to get good starts and be confident. It's got to be hard being a rookie in that class. But 10th place for him again, another top 10, really well. Talon Hawkins, I don't really know what to say about him other than he's been really quiet. You know, he's just there. He's getting in the mains, which is good. Not much happening with him. And I look to see him improve, hopefully. Again, we've talked about it before. He's filling a pretty big role in that team. It wasn't supposed to happen this year. He wasn't supposed to be racing Pro Supercross yet. But, hey, props to him. He's, you know, above the top 15. And then Caden Braswell, you know, signed with the Phoenix Honda team and was supposed to race, you know, 250 East for his first year and didn't qualify again. So he's only got 1 race under his belt. He's got to do something different because he has the speed. He's a really, really good rider, very smooth, very technical. I just don't know if it's a mental thing, if he's just struggling with that, but he didn't qualify again this weekend. So I don't know what you think about that, but it's not a good start for someone who was your Horizon Award winner at Loretta Lynn's this year.
Right, and I think, you know, I don't know if there's any mental stuff going on there. When you see, when you reach that level in the amateur ranks, right? And then you get into the pros and you're like, damn, I'm not that good, or I'm not that good yet. Might be a little kick in the ego. These kids are young, so they're just learning how to deal with all that and the hormones that come with it. So I want to give the rookies, and I want to give the futures a little bit more slack when it comes to the performance side of things, just because there's a lot of development to be had in that, in that realm. And I know we're going to do a futures, an entire video dedicated to just the futures riders. It's just a lot of data that we have to compile and break down. So guys,
absolutely,
be on the lookout for that. But Chris, rolling right on in, man. The main event, the 450 is the reason why everybody's here. Cooper Webb, my dude, is consistent. He's back on top. Do I think Chase Sexton got robbed? A little bit. What do you think, man, about the 450 main and Cooper Webb just taking it?
Cooper Webb just blows my mind more and more every week. He's always there. He's not the fastest guy. He's not the flashiest guy, but he's there every time, no matter what. Second in the second race, and then he won the third race by Sexton getting held up, but he seemed like he was coming out of Sexton pretty quick. So again, there's a lot going on. Sexton is still learning, trying to avoid these mistakes that he made. He crashed again in the third race, but Tomac did too. These guys aren't perfect. This stuff's going to happen. Chase has a lot more eyes on him because he's been doing it a lot more, but I'm just really impressed with Webb. Surprised that Tomac fell, and I don't know what to say about Sexton other than he was just kind of in the middle, didn't qualify first, didn't win any of the races. Right. He was just there again, he's fast, but
just up front.
He's got to get his stuff together. Get your together, Chase. We want to see you win some races, man.
I think they just got to lock in and find that groove. I feel as if the tracks this year are a little bit more technical, or a little bit, I don't want to say difficult, because damn, they're definitely difficult, but are much more challenging of riders at this caliber. Dude, we've been watching Supercross since, the early to mid 2000s together, dude. I don't know, man. I just think the tracks now might be a little bit more technical, or a little bit more difficult. What do you think on that side of things?
Yeah, the tracks, I don't know. I think the whoops are like the biggest thing right now, and I don't know if the guys are just struggling with like bike setup in the whoops or whatever the deal is, but going back to, I think, was it Oakland? That was that really good track that we all liked. Oakland was crazy good. I don't know. I think we need to do something different for sure. Again, it's something we can go into forever, like a whole topic about, but the tracks are been very like cookie cutter other than that one we had this year. So I'm ready for something different, something new, the longer lap times. I hate like a 40 to 50 second lap time. There's just, again, the lappers get in the way even more, like we saw with Chase. So, I'm ready for some different stuff. What can we do? Like what's the change got to be,
So you're pumped for Daytona is what you're saying?
100%, yes, for sure.
Dude, Daytona's always a fun race to watch, man.
Good race, and we got Hampshire coming up. You look at Jeremy Martin in the 250 class. That could be a race that he could shine at and actually get a true main event win. I love Daytona. It's the best race of the year, in my opinion, to watch. I don't know. It's epic. There's always some epic highlights.
I agree with you, man. It's almost as fun as watching I love watching Red Bull Straight Rhythm, different sanction and everything, but it's like watching Red Bud, dude. Awesome track to watch outdoors on. Same with Unadilla, a little bit more bias there, obviously, being from New York. So Tomac announces that he's confirmed for outdoors.
Yep.
And then he signs on with Super Motocross, right?
Yep. Racing the championship rounds.
Then there was some stir about him potentially retiring. I don't think he's retiring. You seem to think he's coming back for 2024. What do you think Tomac's got for us, man?
Yeah, just, again, consuming lots of moto media like we do every week, hours and hours of podcasts and reading and all that good stuff. It sounds like he's not really he didn't sign this deal because he's done next year. At least that's not what he's telling people. He signed this deal because he loves riding his dirt bike right now. He's enjoying racing, and he wants to go race 11 more rounds of outdoors and 3 more rounds of Supercross this year, which sounds crazy to me, but are we having some Tom Brady effect with the wife and kids? I don't know. I'm joking. It's not that. But, yeah, it's really cool to see Tomac coming back, and there's a lot of money on the line. I'd have to think that the team probably throwing a bunch of cash at him, and then, to win the Super Motocross World Championship, millions of dollars on the line. I'm excited. It's going to be a really good summer. Last summer was one of the best summers of racing we've ever had. Every moto was a battle between Eli and Chase, and I am so excited. I love outdoors. I cannot wait Supercross needs to end.
Outdoors,
Get out of the way.
Outdoors is arguably so much more fun to watch for a multitude of reasons. So what I think is going on with the Tomac situation, the rumors about retirement and everything, and we see this with Tom Brady, we see this with other athletes in other sports and industry. When you reach that level, you're like, okay, I'm best in class. My money is good, but I could probably pull more because I am the premier rider in the premier class. So they'll throw that out there, get the execs at Yamaha stirring and talking and being like, all right, they know the game too. They're going to throw them some cash, get them back, go to your media tour, say you're not retiring, and everyone's happy. So I think it's just a little bit of a business play there. To be honest, not saying what's next for Tomac, but what would Tomac go on and do? So, for example, Brady's going to retire from football and get a massive media deal that he already signed. What would Tomac do outside of Supercross, aside from be a normal dude, do his thing, and have his little side businesses as well? I just think he belongs in Supercross right now. The dude's at the top, needs to stay up there. So I just think it was a little bit of a business play there. But dude, let's talk about Roczen, because last week Roczen had a little bit of a shine, then looked uncomfortable. But I think Roczen now looking a little bit more comfortable, especially after having a triple crown. Thoughts on Roczen this weekend?
Impressed. Kenny started off the first race in second and held his own the whole time. He had Cooper and Chase coming up on him, and he didn't fall back or anything like he did last week. So that tells me that they're doing something with that bike. They're getting the bike more comfortable for him. Shane's been riding better. Chiz has been riding better. So yeah, it's really good for him to stay in the top 5 and almost podium again. We all thought going into the year that this was going to happen. We knew there was going to be bike issues. It's just whether or not you can figure those issues out. So it seems like they're working hard. The team is putting a lot into him. And yeah, 5th overall, that's awesome. I'm pumped for Kenny. Was that 5th overall? I'm pretty sure he did, yeah. 4th overall. So either way, yeah, he rode well for 5th. And I hope he gets better. I'd like to see him win a race this year. I still don't see that, how do you put it, like when he rode that Honda, he was so smooth. He could, flow into the corners, always standing up. I don't see that comfort level out of him yet, but I do think it's achievable. Again, if the team keeps working hard and getting some suspension and chassis stuff figured out, I think he'll be good and he'll get back to his old winning ways.
Dude, I think Roczen, and I don't want to dwell on this topic too much because I think it's speculation and I would need to do a lot of research to try to validate the point I'm about to make.
Yep.
I think Roxon's doing a little bit of what Stewart did when Stewart was on his way out, trying to find every little thing wrong with the bike, or maybe it felt as if every little thing was wrong with the bike. He wasn't trying to find it, but mentally he was thinking there was something wrong. I don't know. Roxon's still top of his game, a boatload of talent. He's just got to, I think he has to find his edge and get on those rails a little bit more. He's definitely riding conservative and is consistent, but I think we both know he's faster than what he's showing out for. But dude, this is going to be my favorite topic to talk about because we were talking about this off camera. The Hill brothers, man. Josh and Justin Hill, dude.
Yeah, isn't that, it's weird to talk about Josh Hill in 2023 when back in 2010 he was battling James Stewart for the championship. Like, he was one of the guys. He was up there battling every weekend. I remember one of the races in Phoenix where I think he won, or I think he beat Stewart like straight up one race. It was, I don't know, Josh just has a crazy history. He did a backflip and got hurt really bad. He's a freestyle guy now. Like, look at him. He does freestyle events. He's not a supercross racer, full-time racer, quote unquote, but obviously he's showing everybody what he has. Really impressive. Justin has probably some of the greatest bike skills in the sport as far as, just easy technique and whips, and just, I love watching that guy ride. And they've both been right around the top 10 the past few weekends. Josh, he went from barely qualifying to 13th, and I think he was a little higher up last weekend. It's impressive to see. Justin retired and was a police officer for a few years and came out and he's doing this stuff again. I don't know. Their story is crazier than any of their stories in the sport right now. And I think that they need to be talked about a bit more because they're doing some big stuff, man. It's really cool. What do you think about the Hill brothers?
Well, I think they're awesome. And someone who has a brother, and whether it's the Stewart brothers or the Lawrence brothers, it is just cool to see that, you're bar to bar with your sibling. And exactly what you just said about Justin, man, which is why we're going to do a separate video on, I think, the families and like siblings of this world, because the family dynamic and everything is so fascinating to break down where these guys come from, what is sacrificed, what they end up branching off doing and then coming back to the sport. Incredibly interesting. So I love what they're doing in Supercross, man. It's sick. But it's just good to see them back out there too, honestly, and especially Josh, dude. I remember kind of growing up watching Josh and just thinking that dude's style was totally different than what was out there at the time, like you said, when he was fighting with Stewart. So just overall cool. But dude, to wrap up this video, 450 points update. It's tight.
Yeah.
Gonna go probably come down to the end, man. I think only 5 points separate the top 3 or something like that, dude. What are you thinking on the points to date?
Yeah, I think that the Supercross points, this series is one of the most exciting as well. We look at Outdoors last year, and then this year with having 3 guys within 5 points of each other is, what else can you ask for as a fan, honestly?
Truth.
If Webb wins another race, he takes over the lead. If Tomac wins this weekend, he stretches his lead out. There's just a lot of things that can happen, a lot of factors. I do look to Tomac to win Daytona just because he looks so comfortable on the bike, and he was really good there last year. He's going to be really good there this year. I'm really excited to see that, and I think it's awesome. We don't really have any other battles. I mean, Anderson and Roczen are kind of in their own little battle right now with Plessinger. I don't think they're going to be contenders anymore, unfortunately. Anderson threw his series away in the beginning with those dumb passes and takeouts. But, again, this is going to be a historic season of Supercross, and we're going to be talking about this one for a long time to come. What do you think, Matt?
Dude, definitely fun. It's been one of the most fun seasons to watch. It's just refreshing, too.
Yeah.
But like you mentioned earlier, dude, I'm pumped for Outdoors. I love watching Supercross because it's indoors, it's fun, it's condensed. But you see a lot of the technique and strategy come into Outdoors, which is what I like to watch.
Yeah.
And plus, too, just the atmosphere of Outdoors. The crowd's bigger, crowds are all over. You hear the air horns and everyone cheering and clapping, everything. It's nuts. So the culture's different. And you know this more than anyone. You've been overseas to the nations. You've been to Redbud. You've been to all the big races. So man, Outdoors is just special.
Outdoors, it's just, you and I, we can relate to Outdoors more than anything. We never grew up racing pro Supercross, but you can ride pro national tracks and you can get that same feel. I don't know. Yeah, I've been fortunate enough to go to destinations in Assen and Redbud and had champagne poured in my mouth from Plessinger in 2021. Like, I had some pretty cool memories. I'm pretty fortunate in that aspect. So I love Outdoors. I love watching the guys ride and show their true technique. That's the man sport. That's separate the boys from the men. I love Outdoors.
Well, that's a separate topic, man, and we're gonna cut that for the next video.
Okay,
guys. As always, thank you so much for watching. Like I said, we just announced our winner for the 500 subscriber giveaway. We've got one giveaway left at 1,000 subs. You get to pick between a Rider replica jersey or a Moto gift card of your choice. So be sure to subscribe, comment down below which you would rather win, and we will see you guys in the next video.
3, 2, 1.